this is not just about the drugs. It's about a whole program, and that program has to include healthy eating, stress control, and exercise.
Yes.
And importantly, for when you're losing a lot of weight, as these drugs often promote, you don't want to lose all your weight from muscle. You want to lose fat weight. And unless you exercise, you're going to actually lose some muscle content. So it's so important for people who are taking these types of drugs. We call them the GLP-1s and the GIPs, Mounjaro and Ozempic, that they exercise. It's a key piece. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Finding Your Wellness, a podcast sponsored by the Columbia Association. I am Dr. Harry Oken, a community physician for over 35 years and the medical director for the Columbia Association. I am proud to be working with CA for over a decade to help assist in their mission to improve the health and wellness of our community. Exercise and education about exercise plays a vital role in the prevention and management of chronic health conditions. But for many people, exercise can be daunting, and it's a hard routine to get into. And that's why we have Cooper Tracks introduced at the Columbia Association to help those folks. Many people are worried about their physical limitations or even have safety concerns. Cooper Tracks is a program that provides participants guidance and support to help them begin an exercise program with confidence and develop habits to inspire a healthier, longer life. Cooper Tracks is a comprehensive health education program that gives participants the opportunity to learn how lifestyle modifications can positively affect their well-being and specific health conditions. Today, we're going to talk about Cooper Tracks, which comes from the Cooper Clinic that was founded by Dr. Kenneth Cooper in 1970 and is a wonderful health and wellness resource. The Cooper Clinic has amassed a tremendous amount of data and expertise and has offered many, many services to literally millions of people all over this country. The Columbia Association became involved in Cooper Tracks, and it's a strategy that offers 3 different modules for specific health concerns. Presently, we have trainers at 3 facilities that focus on cardiovascular health, diabetes, and immunity and reconditioning. And I want to welcome 2 of the trainers now to Cooper Tracks, and we're going to talk about their programs. First, I want to welcome James Wells. He's in charge of immunity and reconditioning. James, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Thank you, Dr. Oken. Yes, my name is James Wells. I'm the lead trainer at the Columbia Gym in Clarksville, Maryland. We've been running the Cooper Tracks Immunity and Reconditioning program since November. So far, it's been going very well. We have a very small, tightly knit group of people who, we're all supporting each other and helping each other stay motivated. And we've been doing really well so far.
Great. So in your participant that might come, they might be getting over a chronic illness. They might have an active chronic illness. Who are the folks that you're encouraging to join the immunity and reconditioning module?
Generally, anyone who is looking to get back into a consistent workout routine. A lot of the people that I work with are either they've never worked out consistently before for whatever reason, or they were working out previously and kind of fell out of the habit, and now they're trying to get back into it. The classes are set up with low impact, low intensity exercise routines that are very approachable and help them kind of ease back into a consistent strength training and cardio program.
Now, all the modules are 8 weeks each, correct?
Correct.
Right. Let me go to Gigi Nash, who runs the diabetes Cooper Tracks. And a word about diabetes before we hear what Gigi has to say. So diabetes is a tremendously big problem in this country. 95% of diabetics in this country are actually adult onset diabetics, which means they're not generally insulin dependent. And oftentimes, their diabetes can be immensely improved by attention to diet and exercise and lifestyle phenomena. So Gigi, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, yes, thank you, Dr. Oken. My name is Gigi Nash, and I am the lead trainer here at Supreme Sports Club here in Columbia. And our track is brand new. We just started it in January. We have one session that is going on right now. We have 3 participants, and all 3 of them come from various backgrounds, but their common denominator is their desire to learn more about their adult onset diabetes and how they can manage it. One of the things that we really are good at is talking about the education part of it. I've noticed that they all have been working out. All of them have some level of conditioning, but they are concerned about their welfare and how their type 2 diabetes will affect them long term. I think the benefit that they are getting is from the education part of it and learning just the nuances of like how to be their own advocate in medical situations and managing their diabetes. So it's taken a little different route that I thought it was going to take. I thought they would be more interested in the workout part of it, but they are really interested in the education and the mental piece of it also. So it's been really interesting.
Right, right. So, James, you're working with the immunity reconditioning piece, and I'm sure you're teaching people about inflammation and ways of improving immunity beyond just exercise, right?
Yes, absolutely. We do the education sessions that we do at the end of each class. We talk about nutrition, we talk about recovery, mindfulness, relaxation. It's really all about getting a comprehensive picture of health and not just about exercise.
Yeah, I always tell people there's 4 pillars of attaining a healthy immune system. The first is nutrition. The second is restorative sleep. The third is the right amount of exercise, not too much and not too little, because too much exercise can actually cause inflammation. And the final piece to that actually is stress control. Stress, if I had to say of the 4, what was the most important that promotes poor aging, it's really stress. And stress comes in all quantities and qualities. And so that stress control is really important. And one of the great antidotes to being stressful is good exercise. Good exercise that promotes endorphins. And of course, there's 2 different types, I like to think of exercise: aerobic or zone 2 training, or anaerobic or HIIT training, which is zone 5. Are you guys employing these types of training, zone 2 and HIIT?
We tend to focus mostly on the zone 2 training and just kind of keep the intensity level a little bit lower, at least on my side. I do teach the participants about HIIT training and the benefits, but most of the classes tend to be a little bit lower intensity.
Mm-hmm. And for you, Gigi?
We do a lot of body weight work. We introduce interval training, but not at the HIIT level. I mean, all 3 of the folks that are in our session right now, well, one was in a coma for 8 months. And so he's learning to walk again. That's on top of the diabetes. We have to meet them where they are. So we do offer interval training, but on a really low level.
Yeah, and I think that actually, high intensity or HIIT or Tabata training has its role. And obviously, if it's overdone, it can really cause problems. So
Yeah.
I'm always cautioning people, you don't really want to do HIIT training, true HIIT training, more than twice a week. Zone 2 training, on the other hand, really speaks to our mitochondria. Our mitochondria are the powerhouses of the cells. And when we do good zone 2 training, what we're getting is mitochondrial flexibility as we train. And preserving your mitochondria and making more mitochondria and making your mitochondria more efficiently is the path to promoting good longevity. Getting back to diabetes, I wanted to make a couple of points for our listening audience, because if we look at adult onset diabetes, it's very much tied to not being at a healthy weight. And the statistics are daunting in terms of Americans, in terms of either being obese or overweight. That's about 65% of the adult population. And then if we just talk about something beyond that, which is what is called now overfat. Overfat defines anyone whose girth is greater than half their height. So if you're a 72-inch man, your girth measured at your belly button should be less than 36 inches. And if you're at that metric, typically things really work out in terms of your health. So that's one metric that I use strongly when I'm working with people about trying to get healthier, because that type of adipose tissue or fat is what we call visceral fat. And that visceral fat is very inflammatory. And inflammation is the basis for most disease. A lot of our type 2 diabetics are now being given two very important drugs. One is called semaglutide, the other is called tirepatide. You may know them as Ozempic and Mounjaro. We've actually already had a Finding Your Wellness piece on this with the endocrinologist who's on the medical advisory board. But these two drugs are really changing the lives of a lot of diabetics because they are invoking some changes that really promote weight loss, that promote at the tissue level better diabetic control. And I've clinically seen a number of people who have lost a reasonable amount of weight and actually put their diabetes in complete remission. But my point about this is not just about the drugs. It's about a whole program. And that program has to include healthy eating, stress control, and exercise.
Yes.
And importantly, for when you're losing a lot of weight, as these drugs often promote, you don't want to lose all your weight from muscle. You want to lose fat weight. And unless you exercise, you're going to actually lose some muscle content. So it's so important for people who are taking these types of drugs. We call them the GLP-1s and the GIPs, Mounjaro and Ozempic, that they exercise. It's a key piece. So the third module we're going to talk about is the cardiovascular module. And we're glad to have Daryl Go with us, who's been actually doing the cardiovascular module for a number of months. Welcome, Daryl. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Been a personal trainer with CA for about 17 years. We had the original program, the Fit Beginnings, that it started years ago. And I really like the Cooper Tracks delivery in terms of the information. It's a lot more added to the Cooper Tracks that I like, that's expanded on the Fit Beginnings that we had originally started back in early 2000s.
And your clients are largely people who have had some cardiovascular issues, such as hypertension or a prior heart attack, or maybe heart failure, correct?
I've actually had 3 participants that have gone through the program that have had like heart surgery.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
So you're helping them recover, getting stronger, getting cardiovascularly fit. And this is at least the second or third module that you've led, right?
This is the second module,
Second
yes.
module, yeah. And participation is pretty good?
Very good. So we've got 4 participants right now.
Mm-hmm. What's a typical day in training like with you for Cooper Tracks?
So typically we'll start with, because there's a progression throughout the weeks, where we start off with a 5-10 minute warm up. Then we go to the stretching area. We start doing some dynamic warm ups. It could be squats, single leg curls. Then we go into a balance component. And after the balance, then we go into the strength training. We have our circuit area to set up in the athletic club so they can hit like basically compound muscles. They'll do like seated rows, chest press, leg press. And then after that, we go and do 10 more additional minutes of cardiovascular training. And now they're up to 20 minutes of cardiovascular training. So we kind of like start with the compound muscles, give them a little bit more biceps, triceps, but really the focus is more on cardiovascular conditioning. So they get a warm up in that's 5 to 10 minutes. Then they have an additional 10 to 15 to now 20 minutes this week of cardiovascular training after they do their strength training. Then we finish with the educational component, which is the one I really like.
Right. So there you have it. We have 3 modules which are available to our the community, really, because you don't necessarily have to even be a CA member to be able to participate in Cooper Tracks. All of these tracks are 8 weeks long and really very, very inexpensive. Remind me the cost of participating.
It varies from person to person, depending on the type of membership that they have, but I believe it usually comes in somewhere around $280 to $300 for the 8-week session.
That would be about 16 sessions, wouldn't it?
Correct.
16
Correct.
different sessions. Yeah, that's a great price point.
$18 a session, $20 a session,
Right.
maybe. And I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, James, but it is income qualified that they can apply to get assistance.
Yes, that's correct.
You know, the wonderful thing about actually group exercise, in my opinion, is there's an esprit de corps that happens and people actually get energy from one another. I'm sure you're seeing that.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Sometimes some really long-standing great friendships happen right from these courses. Ultimately, this really can help propel people who are concerned about either immunity and reconditioning, led by James Wells, diabetes, led by Gigi Nash, or cardiovascular issues led by Daryl Go, to really have a nice foundation going forward. Well, this has been a terrific discussion. Thank you all three for being here and telling us more about Cooper Tracks. And thanks to you, our audience, for listening. And thanks to the Columbia Association for sponsoring Finding Your Wellness. You can listen to all of our podcasts from Finding Your Wellness by typing into your browser podbean.com/Dragon Podcasts. This is Dr. Harry Oken, again, for Finding Your Wellness.